Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 3, Chapter 26, text 53. Hiran Mayad Andakoshad Uttaya Salileshya Shayad Tam Avishya Mahadevo Bahuda Nirbhedakam. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Virat Purusha, situated himself in that golden egg, which was lying on the water, and he divided it into many departments. So the Virat Purush, the universal form of the Lord, is inside the universe, which is called as a golden egg. And he's dividing it into many departments. Nirabhi Dyatasya Prathamam Mukham Vani Tato Bhavat Vanyavanir Atho Nase Prano To Grahana Etayo. First of all, a mouth appeared in him, and then came forth the organ of speech, and with it the god of fire, the deity who presides over that organ. Then a pair of nostrils appeared, and in them appeared the olfactory sense as well as pran, the vital air. So we read here, I don't know if you all remember, in the second canto, also this was there. How the creation is happening, how the universal form of the Lord is there, and how all these organs are there in the universal form of the Lord, and that's the reason we have it. All these functions are there in him, and that's how we have it. And then the various deities who are in charge of that particular function. With the manifestation of speech, fire also became manifested. And with the manifestation of nostrils, the vital air, the breathing process, and the sense of smell also became manifested. So what we were hearing the past few days, where the elements were being created, and then the ear, the eyes, and the objects, that was all in the, not yet inside each individual universe. Everything was still in the subtle form. And then now the Lord has entered into every universe. And so now all these things are becoming manifested. They're becoming manifested inside each universe. And so this is the universal form of the Lord. So he has a mouth, he can speak. And then, okay, so mouth, the deity of that is organ of speech, the Agni Dev. And then nostrils, so he can smell. God can smell. Not only that we can smell, God can also smell. So we can, or not only that we can speak, God can also speak. And then pran, the vital air, smell, and yeah. Graha Nadvayur abhidyetam akshini chakshur etayo tasmat suryo nyabhidyetam karanau shrotram tato dishaha. In the wake of the olfactory sense came the wind god who presides over that sense. Thereafter a pair of eyes appeared in the universal form, and in them the sense of sight. In the wake of this sense came the sun god who presides over it. Next there appeared in him a pair of ears, and in them the auditory sense, and its wake the Dig-devatas, or the deities who preside over the directions. The appearance of different bodily parts of the Lord's universal form and the appearance of the presiding deities of those bodily parts is being described. As in the womb of a mother, a child gradually grows different bodily parts. So in the universal womb, the universal form of the Lord gives rise to the creation of various paraphernalia. The senses appear, and over each of them there is a presiding deity. So as we have been hearing now, we think, oh, our eyes, because of we have this eyes, I can see. No, there's a deity, the sun god. He's there controlling the eyes. Or the nose, there is a deity controlling the nose, the sense of smell. It is corroborated by the statement of Srimad Bhagavatam and also by Brahma Samhita that the sun appeared after the appearance of the eyes of the universal form of the Lord. So it's not that because we have eyes, God has eyes. No, it's because God has eyes, so that's the reason we have eyes. You know, we think we are God, or we think we are greater than God, or we think we are equal than God. And then that is the reason we are in the material world. The thing that we have to understand is that we are not God, and that we can never become God, and that we can never become equal to God. We are who we are, you know, Jivatmas, parts and parcels of God. We are parts and parcels of God, but not God. So that's the reason it's being repeated over and over again, for us to come to some kind of a realization so that we can give up our infatuation, you know, that we have created some fantastic idea in our mind that, yes, I'm God. So we are being told again and again what's the truth so that we can begin to understand, hey, listen, you're not God. You're a part of God. So the sun is dependent on the eyes of the universal form. The Brahma Samhita also says that the sun is the eye of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Chakshur Esha Savita. Savita means the sun. The sun is the eye of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Actually, everything is created by the universal body of the Supreme Godhead. Material nature is simply the supplier of materials. The creation is actually done by the Supreme Lord, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 9.10. Mayadhyakshena prakritihi suyate sa characharam. Under my direction does material nature create all moving and non-moving objects in the cosmic creation. So we can see that material energy, she is the facilitator. She facilitates. What does she facilitate? Our desire that we can pretend that we are God. And so she has these elements, but it's not that she creates the elements, it's Krishna. Krishna who is creating the elements, because by his glance, right? So he's creating everything, and he's the one who's manifesting everything also by his presence, by his presence. If he's not present, then material energy, she can't do anything. She can't do anything by herself. And so that's the reason Krishna says, Mayadhyakshena prakritihi suyate sacharacharam. Mayadhyakshena prakritihi. This material nature, she is working under my orders, under my law. Whatever we see it's happening is the laws are created by the Lord, by the Lord. Any questions or comments till now?
No, all good.
Okay, thank you. Nirbibheda virajastva groma smashrav adhyas tataha tata oshadhyas cha san shishnam nirbibhede tataha. Then the universal form of the Lord, the Virat Purusha, manifested his skin, and thereupon the hair, mustache, and beard appeared. After this, all the herbs and drugs became manifested, and then his genitals also appeared. The skin is the site of the touch sensation. The demigods who control the production of herbs and medicinal drugs are the deities presiding over the tactile sense. So there is also deities who are controlling how much. Before, of course, now we have our medicines are chemical. Before it used to be the herbs. But even if it's chemical, it's still coming from nature. We don't produce that chemical, right? Nothing. We can't create. Man cannot create. Creation is done by God. We just manipulate it, whatever is already created. And we can, what can we do is just use the resources. That's what we are doing. We can't create any resources. That's the idea. Or rather, that's the fact. Retas tasmad apa asan nirabhidyata vaigudam gudad apano apanakcha mrityur loka bhayankaraha. After this, semen, the faculty of procreation, and the god who presides over the waters appeared. Next appeared an anus, and then the organs of defecation, and thereupon the god of death, who is feared throughout the universe. It is understood herewith that the faculty to discharge semen is the cause of death. Oh, it is understood herewith that the faculty to discharge semen is the cause of death. Therefore, yogis and transcendentalists who want to live for greater spans of life voluntarily restrain themselves from discharging semen. The more one can restrain the discharge of semen, the more one can be aloof from the problem of death. There are many yogis living up to 300 or 700 years by this process. And in the Bhagavatam, it is clearly stated that discharging semen is the cause of horrible death. The more one is addicted to sexual enjoyment, the more susceptible he is to a quick death. So it seems that the life reduces if you discharge more semen. Because I know they say that, I don't know how much blood is required to create semen. So it really takes a lot of energy. So anyway, we can see that everything is there in the universal form of the Lord. Hastaucha nira vidyetam balam tabhayam tatah swarat padaucha nira vidyetam gatis tabhayam tato harihi. Thereafter, the two hands of the universal form of the Lord became manifested, and with them the power of grasping and dropping things. And after that, Lord Indra appeared. Next, the legs became manifested, and with them the process of movement. And after that, Lord Vishnu appeared. The deity presiding over the hands is Indra, and the presiding deity of movement is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu. Vishnu appeared on the appearance of the legs of the Virat Purusha. So each and every movement, each and every action of us is being controlled by a particular deity, a particular demigod. We think we are independent. I can go here, I can go there. No. Only when we have the sanction of the Lord. And that's how we can see sometimes we are so sick and we want to do this and want to do that. Oh, but I can't lift my finger. I can't get up. The will, the desire is there, but somehow the hands, the legs, everything is there, but oh, I can't get up. So that is evidence that we are not even the controllers of our own bodies. Nadayo asya nirabhidyanta tabayo lohitam abratam nadyastata sambhava samabhavan udaram nirabhidyata. The veins of the universal body became manifested, and thereafter the red corpuscles or blood. In their wake came the rivers, the deities presiding over the veins, and then appeared an abdomen. Blood veins are compared to rivers. When the veins were manifested in the universal form, the rivers in the various planets also manifested. The controlling deity of the rivers is also the controlling deity of the nervous system. In Ayurvedic treatment, those who are suffering from the disease of nervous instability are recommended to take a bath by dipping in a flowing river. Okay, so disease of nervous instability, we should go to the flowing river to take a bath. So then we can see also that how by looking at nature, we can understand, we can remember God. This is the reason so much detail is given to us that, oh, the rivers are the veins of the Lord, the trees and the plants, the herbs are the hairs on his body, like different things that can remind us of him. Shutpipase tata syatam samudrastva etayor abhut athasya hridayam bhinnam hridayan mana uttitam. Next grew feelings of hunger and thirst, and in their wake came the manifestation of the oceans. Then a heart became manifest, and in the wake of the heart, the mind appeared. The ocean is considered to be the presiding deity of the abdomen, where the feelings of hunger and thirst originate. So the ocean, that's the abdomen of the Lord. It's the abdomen of the Lord. When there is irregularity in hunger and thirst, one is advised, according to Ayurvedic treatment, to take a bath in the ocean. Okay, so bath in the river and bath in the ocean for mental instability and irregularity in hunger and thirst. That is what Ayurveda says. Manasas chandramo jato buddhir buddhir giram patihi ahankaras tato rudras chitam chaityas tato bhavat. After the mind, the moon appeared. Intelligence appeared next, and after intelligence, Lord Brahma appeared. Then the false ego appeared, and then Lord Shiva. And after the appearance of Lord Shiva came consciousness and the deity presiding over consciousness. So Prabhupada is telling us that how the baby in the womb of the mother gradually is developing. Here we can see how the universal form of the Lord, all these different organs, the different deities, all the different like ocean and rivers and all these things are becoming manifest. The moon appeared after the appearance of mind, and this indicates that the moon is the presiding deity of the mind. So earlier we read that Anirudh, right? Anirudh is the presiding deity of the mind, and he is the Lord of the moon. Moon is the presiding deity of the mind. Similarly, Lord Brahma appeared after intelligence, is the presiding deity of intelligence, and we were hearing that Pradyumna was the controller of the intelligence, and also people worship Lord Brahma for that. And then Lord Shiva, who appears after false ego, is the presiding deity of false ego. So Lord Shiva, he helps us take away our false ego. Lord Shiva is always meditating on Lord Sankarshan. Lord Sankarshan and Lord Shiva, the presiding deity of false ego. In other words, it is indicated that the moon god is in the mode of goodness, whereas Lord Brahma is in the mode of passion, and Lord Shiva is in the mode of ignorance. The appearance of consciousness after the appearance of false ego indicates that from the beginning, material consciousness is under the mode of ignorance, and that one therefore has to purify himself by purifying his consciousness. So our consciousness right now is material. It is not our original consciousness. Original consciousness of every living entity is Krishna consciousness, love of God. Love of God. That is the original consciousness of every living entity. And so right now we are in ignorance. We are ignorance, and so we have to purify our consciousness. Ignorance is like the dirt which is covering our consciousness. Like we can think there is a gold ring, and the gold ring, it falls inside a sewer. So then what happens is not that the gold and the gold is mixed up with the sewer, that there is no more gold now, it's only dirt. No, the gold is still there, it's just covered. Now, if we just take that ring, and gold is gold after all, even if it's covered in whatever dirty things, you're not just going to throw it away. You'll say, oh, let me clean it, and then I'll have the shiny gold. So similarly, consciousness, right now it has become material. Okay, all right, doesn't matter. We just have to clean it, purify it. This purificatory process is called Krishna consciousness. So it's not that when the dirt is gone, that the gold ring is gone, finished, no more gold ring. No, when we clean the dirt out, we can see the gold ring shining. Similarly, when we clean our consciousness becomes pure. That is Krishna consciousness. As soon as the consciousness is purified, the false ego disappears. Identification of the body with the self is called false identification or false ego. So what is this false ego that each of us think? this is my name, this is my family, this is my country, my society, I am this one, I am that one, I am this body. This is our false ego, false identification. So when we say this is false ego, means there is a true ego. Otherwise, why are we calling it false ego? Why don't we just call it ego, right? So it's a false ego. That means there is a true ego. And what is the true ego? Anyone?
True ego is that I am a soul. I'm the soul. I'm part and parcel of the Lord Supreme.
That's
Person.
right. Yes, thank you. Yes. So Lord Chaitanya confirms this in Shikshashtaka. He states that the first result of chanting the Mahamantra Hare Krishna is the dirt is cleared from the consciousness or the mirror of the mind. And then at once the blazing fire of material existence is over. So this is what Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, that once you start chanting, the first result of chanting Mahamantra, first result is what? Liberation. He's saying that when you chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra properly, then the dirt from the consciousness or the mirror of the mind at once is cleaned. And then the blazing fire of material existence is over. That's the first result. So there are so many more results. So that's why Krishna says that bhakti begins from the platform of liberation, begins from the point of liberation. It's not the end. It's not the end. True life begins from the point of liberation. Because right now, we have become dirty. Our consciousness is thinking, I'm the body, I'm the body. We have forgotten, as Sneha rightfully said, that I'm a soul, eternal part and parcel of God. So how can I come back to that same consciousness? Chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. The blazing fire of material existence is due to false ego, but as soon as the false ego is removed, one can understand his real identity. At that point, he's actually liberated from the clutches of Maya. So our real identity, that I'm an eternal soul, part and parcel of God, I have an eternal loving relationship with God, then that is liberation. That is liberation. I have a loving relationship with God. As soon as one is freed from the clutches of false ego, his intelligence also becomes purified. So now, because the false ego is not there anymore, so the intelligence of the living entity is pure intelligence. I have an eternal loving relationship with God. And then his mind is always engaged upon the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared on the full moon day as Gaurachandra, or the spotless transcendental moon. The material moon has spots on it, but on the transcendental moon, Gaurachandra, there are no spots. In order to fix the purified mind in the service of the Supreme Lord, one has to worship the spotless moon, Gaurachandra. Those who are materially passionate or those who want to exhibit their intelligence for material advancement in life are generally worshippers of Lord Brahma, and persons who are in gross ignorance of identifying with the body worship Lord Shiva. Materialists like Hiranyakashipu and Ravana are worshippers of Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva. But Prahlad and other devotees in the service of Krishna consciousness worship the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead. So Prabhupada is telling us that, what mode are we in? If we are a lot in the mode of passion, then we'll worship Lord Brahma. If we are a lot in the mode of ignorance, we'll worship Lord Shiva. But one who wants to purify the consciousness, one who wants to understand the real truth, then worship the Supreme Lord. And the Supreme Lord appeared in Kali Yuga on the full moon day as Lord Gaurachandra, that is Lord Chaitanya. So by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, we can easily chant the Hare Krishna mantra and go back home, back to Godhead, by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, who is Krishna himself. By his mercy, we can fix our minds on the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Is that okay? Because it's very difficult to approach Krishna, very difficult to approach Krishna, but the whole process is made easy for us by Lord Chaitanya.
By chanting the Hare Krishna
mantra. Yes, yes. So we are chanting on his order, and by his mercy we are chanting. Yes. Thank you. Did anyone want to add anything or comment anything? If no, then we'll stop here for today. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shilpa Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.